It's time to get your mind right with the Mind on Greatness podcast crew. Welcome to the Mind on Greatness podcast show.
What it is, everybody. You already know it is the big bounce out, bounced out, K poke through the dope. You already know who over there. That's Coach B, aka Brody on the Hustle. And it's the Mind on Greatness podcast. It's talk boxing, football, sports, anything in life. We ain't running for no smoke. We still got Clutch Factory. We got some videos coming soon. Shout out to that. But anyway, shout out to that boy Mike. Shout out to everybody who has contributed to the Mind on Greatness podcast. Y'all still continue to rock with us. We still on this. We still got our mind focused on greatness. But today, we talking NFL talk. You know what I mean? The NFL is back. And boy, it's a beautiful sight, man. Let me tell you, on Sundays, my kids don't bother me. I'll be in front of the TV with that remote. They be bringing me sandwiches and drinks and all type of stuff. It's lovely. But we're going to talk them Texans, baby. Post reaction to them Texans. The Texans pull it off. They win 29-27. We also going to give out week 2 predictions. But let's dive into them Texans, man. So, Coach, man, let me know something. What did you see in that game that interested you offensively? We're going to start with the offensive side of the ball, the Texans. What did you see offensively that was a pro and that was a con on the offensive side of the ball when it comes to the Houston Texans? Let me know something.
For sure. What it is, folks, like you said, we got our mind focused on greatness. We back at it, you know what I'm saying? We still got both channels. We getting both of them going. We finna get this thing fried crispy for y'all. Y'all gonna enjoy everything we got to put out in the future. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this Houston Texans game. Season opener, like K4 said, NFL is back, baby. I'm so happy. Got something to watch every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Thank God. Because I don't get into regular TV. Sports is my thing. Football and boxing is my thing. If y'all haven't noticed, you know now. But anyways, let's get to it. The Houston Texans, pros and cons, offensively, starting off on the offensive side of the ball. First things first, I just want to point this out. Lucky I ain't got my sunglasses around me. For those who's throwing shade about Stephon Diggs coming over to the Houston Texans and being a little diva,
Mm.
he showed out week 2. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be our touchdown machine. We still got Nico Collins, we still got Tank Dell, but at the same time, CJ Stroud made him feel comfortable in season 1 week opener against a division foe. And that's like and for those who don't understand, the Colts is not some team you just gonna walk in and score 2 touchdowns on. You have to actually put some work in, pause, no freaky, to get some touchdowns against them, especially 2. That's a solid defense. They no household names, but they play good football. But anyways, pros and cons. Let's get to the pros of it. The way that the Houston Texans and Bobby Slowick came out and figured out a game plan against a team like that was absolutely brilliant. The play calling was kind of shaky in the beginning. I get it. It's like an extension of the preseason when we open up week 1, but at the same time, the play calling was brilliant down the stretch. It's a wonder. It's a plus. Everything is glorious when you have a running game that you can lean on down the stretch in the game when you have the lead. When you can hand the ball off and the running back is popping off 4 or 5 yards of carry and he's got that clock going, you're getting first down. It's a wonder to keep potent offenses like the Colts off the field. You're going to need that. That's playoff football being expressed already from the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon got behind that O line and did his thing. I love the running game. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But at the same time, I'm going to go to one of the cons real quick. The gadget plays. I get it. You got to find a way to get the ball to Tank Dell in different situations. You got to find a way to get the ball to Stephon Diggs in different situations. But establish that after the fact. When you've already got the lead, you're comfortable, and you're trying to open up the playbook a little bit more. Let's not be playing with the playbook when we're trying to get a rhythm and we're trying to get up on a team like the Colts. Because as you can see, Anthony Richardson and the Colts was playing no games. They was coming to try to take some. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? But Texas pulled up, we swung in the lane, we popped trunk, let them know what it was. Slapping on them all day. You feel me? H-Town type of thing right there. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Again, Pros, brilliant play calling. I love how the run game was working. I love how Stephon Diggs was incorporated. You know what I'm saying? They got him into the end zone twice coming out of the slot, and it was beautiful. It was CJ was still doing his thing, still didn't throw an interception. You know what I'm saying? So it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Now, last thing when it comes to a con, I would like to see that O line do a little bit more justice when it comes to the pass game. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I know it's early. I don't want to be too critical. I don't want to be too crazy on them, too harsh on them right now. But at the same time, just just a little bit, little bit. CJ was dancing around, having to create a little bit too much for my liking. I get it. It's week one, trying to iron out the wrinkles, knock off the rust. But at the same time, let's tighten up on that O line. But other than that, brilliant game plan, brilliant running game, brilliant getting Stephon Diggs into the end zone twice. And hey, I have nothing else further to say.
Yeah, I second everything you said. It was a brilliant game plan by the Houston Texans. Don't like the gadget plays. You cannot do gadget plays against a fundamentally sound defense like that. And the coach come to play. They don't got names, but they got dudes that come to play. So you got to be able to break that wheel. You got to be able to run that ball and break them. And then off the run game, you're able to make plays off of that. So, I wish the Texans did. Um, I'm gonna highlight some of the Colts. Um, Basically, good plays. They had three big plays in which Anthony Richardson threw the ball up to the heavens and it came down. Right? I don't know no other quarterback in the league that can do that right now. The boy slipped, right, and just threw it up, right. And I'm pretty sure what happened with the Texas secondary with Jimmy Ward or it looked like Derek Stingley was on him, was they didn't think that boy was going to catch that ball. They didn't think that he could throw that ball that far. And the boy just kept running, and he just happened to be able to chase that ball down and catch it and run in the end zone for a touchdown, right? Anthony Richardson, although his numbers, he was like 9 for 19, 212 yards, two touchdowns and an interception. He wasn't really accurate, but he played within the realms of himself. And I think this is the type of quarterback he's going to be. He's going to be a guy that is not going to be accurate with the football. He's going to be a guy that's, you're going to have to put him in that realm of between 20 and 25 passes a game and then get him some touches, maybe between 5 and 10 carries, QB rushes. So I think he's going to be that type of guy for them. And, what better coach to have than Shane Steichen? I feel like they did a phenomenal job of, putting the ball in their playmakers' hands and, making things happen. So the Colts are not to be slept on. They're a team that, if they get the right matchup, they can make a run in the playoffs. That's just what I see. You know what I mean? Good fundamentally sound team. Do I see them win the AFC South? No. But if they get the right matchup, they very well can make a run in the playoffs. Now, Coach, slide it back to you. Texans defense. What are the pros that you saw, and what were the cons that you saw in the Texans defense?
Uh, for the Texans defense, they got to get better on the tackling side of the ball because it was so many plays where I'm like, that's a routine play. That's a routine tackle. Why are we missing these tackles? You know what I'm saying? So tackling, you got to tighten up on the tackling. And like you say, they had one mistake. Anthony Richardson threw it up to the heavens. Guy ran up under and caught it. Now, those type of mental plays, we cannot, as a defense, think anything is not going to happen. Mentally, we got to stay focused on every play because we know the eyes of the league are on us. They're expecting us to be top notch players. They're expecting us to be one of the top five teams defensively and offensively. So, with that being said, mentally, you got to check in, you got to focus. No play, no player, no pass, no run gets by for free. There's no slacking. And I've seen a lot of slacking early on in this game. They tightened up towards the end. It was kind of late. Anthony Richardson and them was still doing their thing, but at the same time, mental focus and tackling. especially from a defense like this. You have too many names. You have too many solidified players. You have a solid secondary. You have a solid D line. You have a solid backer core. So with that being said, we cannot allow ourselves as a defensive player to get into a mode to where we think the man next to us is going to make the play. No, we work as a unit. I don't know if you got it or not. So I'm coming to your aid. I'm coming to your rescue. We cannot stand there and get caught in the fire of, oh, he got the tackle, but all of a sudden he break the tackle and now you chasing 6 7 yards from behind. We can't have that happen. So defense has to tighten up the tackling, and mentally they got to check in early. Early. This is going to be a long season. I'm telling you right now. They are looking for us to crumble in some type of way. You cannot give the eyes of the league any type of reason to downplay this Houston Texans football team. Uh, Pros, when they finally got their switch on, they was on defense. They was playing good football. I like how the front finally came together and started creating some kind of pressure. That way, Anthony Richardson had to, finally start flushing from the pocket. And it was times where Anthony Richardson, I felt like he was seeing ghosts. It felt like he felt like he was getting pressure, but he wasn't getting pressure, so he was kind of leaving the pocket prematurely. But at the same time, that's the pro with the cons: mental focus and tackling. They got to get that down pat, because, like I said, it's gonna be a long season and people are looking to, build a blueprint against us to see how they can knock us out from here on out, because this is going to be one of the teams to be reckoned with down the stretch and throughout the playoffs.
And I second everything you said. The coach defense, pros I saw, their secondary. Their secondary is like I say, man, pretty good. Very fundamentally sound. They like glue. You know what I mean? They like glue. You know what I mean? They glue themselves to them receivers. It's hard to get open on these guys. You saw the catches that Nico Collins was making, those circus catches. You know what I mean? You saw even Stephon Diggs, even some of his routes, they had to do a lot of pick routes to get him open. You know what I mean? And a lot of quick, routes, like when he ran that out towards the pylon and they caught it in the end zone for his second touchdown. They do stuff like that. But any elongated routes where you got to run a post, you got to run a dig or a post corner, them corners they glued to your chest. Pause. So that's some of the pros that I like. Some of the cons with the Colts, I feel like the run game, right? Y'all let them Texans run all through y'all. And let me tell you something. That boy Joe Mixon, if he keep running like that all season, he gonna make C.J. Stroud win the MVP. I'm telling you this. If he runs like that all season, if this offensive line can keep this up, that boy C.J. Stroud will win the MVP. That's just real talk. Joe Mixon really bulldozed them and punked them, basically. You know what I mean? He broke their wheel. You kind of saw them like, and one thing I'll say this, they tried up to a certain point, but after a while, it was just like the effort was just like, man, I'm tired of tackling this 6 foot, 225 pound dude, and he running people over, and he keeping his legs moving. He ain't just going down, and he's shifty. You know what I mean? So, uh, I think the Colts got to scheme better defensively against the run, because they kind of got bulldozed against this makeshift offensive line. The offensive line, to me, wasn't even on the Texan side. They were average. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, it was a lot of mistakes. CJ back there running for his life. A lot of the runs that Joe Mixon had was because of him setting up stuff. And y'all don't understand that. If you didn't play the running back position, see, me and Coach played that position. You know what I mean? Me, I didn't blossom into the player, I wanted to be till I was in college. But Coach was that player in high school. He understood setting up your blocks. And Joe Mixon was setting stuff up. A running back will go in that gap, boop. He'll go in the A gap. Linebacker coming in the A gap, boop. Joe Mixon out. I saw a run. Joe Mixon got the rock, was finna go in the A gap, and then broke that mug all the way outside. You know what I mean? And almost broke the run. The corner tipped his foot and he fell. If the corner didn't tip that foot, Joe Mixon would have been hitting his head on the goalpost. So that's just real talk. He would have been hitting that bay dance he was doing. I don't know how to do it, but he would have been hitting that early. You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
all I'm saying is, with the Colts defense, they got to address their run defense. That's all I pretty much got to say about that. Um, Real quick before I pass it to you for the week 2 games, these teams play twice a year. You think the Texans
Mhm.
sweep them this season?
Oh man, that's a good question. Off guard, catch it. You feel me? Still got boxing in me. But anyways, twice this year. We know we got to play them twice. I'll be honest. Last year, I'm taking back real quick. Last year, when I seen Anthony Richardson, I felt like if it was the guy that was gonna make this division dangerous for the Houston Texans, it was gonna be Anthony Richardson. Now, with that being said, if he can find a way to become that dangerous, accurate passer from the pocket and still keep his mobility and still be able to throw on the run down the stretch, dealing with him for the Houston Texans, I feel like it could be a problem. But at the same time, right now, with what I've seen from this week 1 opener, I don't see them sweeping them. I still see the second game being close, just like this one. Hell, I think the next game might even be by a 1 point victory. I got the Texans winning it by 1 point plus one. But at the same time, the Texans are going to have to add something into their game plan that they haven't expressed to any other team this season when it comes to playing the Colts the second game. Because just like all the stuff you mentioned before about their defense, their corners are glued to you. Their D line, DeForest Buckner and crew, they coming after you. The linebackers, speed, and the rest of that crew, they're coming after you. They can fly around. They got the mental state to do everything. They got the IQ to do everything. So the Texans are gonna have to bring that A plus game to beat them the second time. But I still got the Texans sweeping them this season. I got them winning 2-0, but that second game, don't be surprised if it come down to one the final play. The final play for the Texans to kick a field goal and win it by one.
I totally agree. It's gonna be tough. It's definitely gonna be tough for the Texas to sweep them. I think that if Texas ain't on their A game, they can't get beat. But they need to address that secondary. I hear Jeff Okuda is out, and the other guy, C.J. Henderson, is out. And these are two
Mhm.
guys that they invested in the offseason, and they just re-signed Desmond King. So the Texans got they I mean Kamari is doing his thing. He aggressive. He figuring stuff out, but they need to address that secondary. In
Mhm.
order to compete, at a high level. We know the Texans front seven is good. But that secondary, you're in a league where a team can spread you out. Pause. And they can go 5 wide. You run up on a Patrick Mahomes, he's not gonna have Pacheco back there. He gonna
Mhm.
and he finna try to pick you apart. He gonna play the mismatch game. So I think that they definitely got to address that corner position, uh, and even safety. Jimmy Ward kind of, in my opinion, took a step back. So we shall
Yeah.
see what they do. But we're gonna toss that mug to you, Coach. Let's do these week 2 things, man. Pause. Hey, pause that. Pause. That sound right.
Facts. One last thing I want to highlight about the Texans. Remember, Tennille Hunter's still not on the field, so we got to see what they actually gonna look like when they get him back. All right, so let's go ahead and segue off into week 2 NFL predictions. Now we got some new things going. Stick with us. You'll catch on to it. It's football talk. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. We finna hop into these week 2 predictions. Let's go ahead and start with the Thursday night matchup, September 12th, 2024 of this year, the first Thursday night game of the NFL season. We're gonna start with a no huddle right here. I hate to do it, but we're gonna do no huddle right here. We got the Buffalo Bills traveling down to Florida to play the Miami Dolphins. Who you got right here, Coach?
I got the Dolphins. I say 21-14.
Okay, I second that. I got the Dolphins as well. Moving on to the Sunday, the first window of the Sunday game matchups. No huddle right here. New Orleans versus Dallas.
That's sad. I got Dallas. 31-10.
Okay, I second that. I'm taking Dallas Cowboys in that one too. At home, Jerry Jones got his quarterback. He finally signed. Well, he finally signed that. He got CeeDee Lamb. He got his crew. So I got the Cowboys right here. Next game. We can muddle this one. I kind of like this one. We can muddle this one. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going over to Detroit to take on the Lions. Who you got in this one and why?
Mm, rematch. I got the Lions. Um, Jameer Gibbs gonna have a big game. I got the Lions winning 34-20.
All right, here we go. Baker Mayfield kind of surprised me week one. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing. Hey, his numbers were impressive. I'm not going to break down his stats and his numbers, but his numbers were impressive for week one. Mike Evans got in the end zone. I didn't expect any of this to happen week one. I didn't expect him to look good at all. But at the same time, I'm going to have to take that Detroit Lions team. And this one, I say they win it 23-17. And I say they win it on account of Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the rest of that Detroit Lions offense. Next game, no huddle. Indianapolis going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Who you got? No Jordan
Uh,
Love right here.
I got Indianapolis. I say 21-7.
All right. I'm gonna go with Indianapolis right here too. I'm gonna say this one 23-10. No Jordan Love. That's tough. Uh Next game, no huddle as well. New York at the Tennessee Titans.
Which New York? The Jets or the Giants?
Jets, my bad. I gotta address that, don't I?
I got I got the Jets. I say they win 27-14. I think they bounce back.
27-14 Jets. I'm gonna take the Jets as well. I think A Rod is finally he got to get into a groove. There's still a lot of rust on him, so I'm gonna go right here with the Jets. All right, segueing into the next game. Now we're gonna muddle this one as well because I felt like the home team did all right against kind of a people said trash opponent, but we talking about the 49ers going over to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Who you got in this game and why, real quick?
I got the 49ers. I think their defense, Fred Warner, is going to be able to have his guys ready to play. I think they're going to try to shut down Justin Jefferson and make it difficult for Sam Darnold. It's going to be that defense that's going to step it up and make Sam Darnold see ghosts out there. He's going to be seeing ghosts. So, 49ers, I say 24-14.
Okay. Right here. Sam Darnold knows the 49ers. So I think this is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a good game, in my opinion. I think it turns out to be a defensive game. Because why? If you didn't get a chance to see the highlights, I know the New York Giants ain't the best of offenses, but at the same time, to play defense, you got to get out there and play defense. There's no writing it on paper. Oh, we're going to do this and that. No, you got to play defense. The Minnesota Vikings expressed in week one opener that they can play defense. I think they're going to make it a little bit tough and difficult, especially if they don't have Christian McCaffrey back for the 49ers. I think that Minnesota defense will make it tough for Brock Purdy and the rest of his crew to get things going. But at the same time, I'm still going to roll with the 49ers in this one, and I say they win it. I'm going to go 27. No, excuse me. I said defense. My bad. I'm going to go 21-10. Next game, no huddle. Seattle playing the Patriots. Seattle Seahawks versus the Patriots. No huddle.
Mm, mm. I'm going to throw a bone here. I'm going to pick the Patriots. I like what I saw. So I'm going to say this is going to be another defensive game. I say the Texans. The Patriots win 17-14. Field goal.
Okay. Okay, bet. I ain't gonna lie. I second everything you just said. And it is one guy. It's just one guy because he doesn't let you down. Jacoby Brissett.
Mm.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna take the Patriots right here against the Seahawks. I'm gonna take the Patriots. Next game, my God. No huddle, quick huddle, no huddle, no huddle, no huddle, no huddle. New York versus the Washington Commanders. Who you got?
Commanders, easy. I say 31-3.
I'm taking the Commanders, and I'll second that score as well. Let's go ahead and roll into the next one. Another game I wish we can actually be talking about, but we gonna no huddle because they both look kind of. If we're gonna talk about the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Carolina Panthers, Carolina Panthers at home, and my God, who you got right here? No huddle.
I got the Chargers. I said they win big. I said 31-10.
Okay. Last week I bet on the Raiders to beat the Chargers. Chargers got the dub. So right here, I'm not gonna go against them until they prove me wrong. I'm gonna take the Chargers right here. Let's roll into this next game. We're gonna talk about this one real quick. We're gonna muddle this one. We got the Cleveland Browns versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both these teams took an L last week. One took a decent L. The other team just Did not look the part. Who you got right here? The Browns versus Jacksonville Jaguars. They in Jacksonville.
It's a tough one, man. You know, my heart want to go with the Browns, but my mind saying Jacksonville. So, and Deshaun Watson is going through so much right now. He just got another civil lawsuit. So, I don't think he mentally there. So, I think Deshaun Watson has another bad game. I'm gonna go to Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's close because that defense is good. I People underestimate that Cleveland Browns defense, and you know how the Cowboys did them last week, but they made the Cowboys kick a lot of field goals.
Mhm.
Um, so I got Jacksonville. I said it's close. I said 21-17.
Yeah, just like you said, man. Prayers go out to Deshaun Watson, man. I don't even know how this dude not up under the jailhouse, and I don't want him to be there. But at the same time, my God, bro, stay in the house, go to the stadium, practice, go to the game, play, go home. Don't do nothing else. Don't get behind the wheel. Don't go to the stove. Don't order anything. If you got to do anything, see somebody else to do it. Stay in the house, bro. Stay in the house, bro. But may God be with you, bless you through the rest of your career, and bless you through whatever trial and tribulation you got going on. But I'm gonna say this is gonna be a defensive game. I think this is a matchup between two top 10 defenses, and I think Jacksonville Jaguars will pull it off because right now, like you said, the starting quarterback of the Browns is mentally off track. So and I think the Jacksonville Jaguars had a decent game against Miami last week. And I think they get on track right here, and they go week two. They in week two, 1-1. All right, let's go ahead and roll into the next game. We can chop it up about this one real quick too. We got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Ravens, the Baltimore Ravens. They in Baltimore.
Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson gonna get on track. The Raiders got to figure out their quarterback situation. They got to decide if they're gonna go with Gardner Minshew or they're gonna go with Aiden. Uh, I think it's Aiden Collins or whatever his name is. But
Mm.
the backup. You know what I mean? They gotta decide if they're gonna go with him, which he had a pretty good year when he was the starting quarterback last year when he filled in for Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, but it's a lot to overcome with them. They don't have Josh Jacobs. They still got Devontae Adams, but he's the only thing on offense. So, um, and Baltimore, Lamar, taking a heartbreaking loss last week. So I got the Ravens. I say 24-17.
Cool. I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. I say the Ravens come out with a nasty attitude. They're gonna come out and play Baltimore Raven football all the way. And last week the Raiders had trouble stopping the run. They let J.K. Dobbins, who couldn't unhitch the wagon and get into the end zone twice. Man, that dude broke twice and couldn't get into the end zone. I'm talking about Scott Free, nobody around, couldn't get there. But he been through a lot of injuries, but he's still playing though. That's the positive thing about it. But anyways, I think the Baltimore Ravens come out with a nasty attitude. They play that nasty defense. They get that running game going. Derrick Henry, I think Derrick Henry gonna rush for 120. I think Lamar Jackson gonna rush for a buck, and they just gonna run wild all over the Las Vegas Raiders. I hate to say it, but that's what I think is going to happen. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning 31-10. All
Mm.
right, next game. No huddle. Pittsburgh versus Denver Broncos.
Pittsburgh. I got Pittsburgh winning another barn burner. I say 10-7.
No, I like that. I like that. Okay, I'm a second that. I got Pittsburgh as well. I'm not even gonna toss out a score with that because that's a low scoring game, just like you mentioned. Next game. If y'all may allow us, we getting close to that closeout time. We're gonna talk about this one real quick and briefly. So we're gonna muddle this one. We got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City.
I got Kansas City. The Cincinnati Bengals don't have a run game. They can't. It seems like they don't have identity on offense. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning 31-20.
I second that. I second that as well. I got the Chiefs. They look like they're having fun with football again, and that's crazy. When you got Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and all them toys you got over there, Paul's no freaky. They're having fun with football. That's a dangerous sight. That's a dangerous team when you can have fun in the NFL. That's dangerous. And not only that, the Cincinnati Bengals look like a shell of themselves. I don't think Jamar Chase is happy with this current situation. They need to pay that man so he can play football for them because they're gonna need him down the stretch. T. Higgins, we don't know if he's gonna be there because he's still out with an injury. He hasn't been cleared from what I'm understanding, what I read. So with that being said, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs until Joe Burrow dyes hair back black and cut the foolishness. Come on, Joe Burr. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs right here. I think Kansas City Chiefs roll all over them, 28-10. We got to talk about this last game right here, and we're going to talk about the Bears taking on the Houston Texans in Houston. Let's get it, baby. Who you got right here, Capo?
Man, you already know, man. I'm coming down, man. I'm coming down M.O.G. I'm switching lanes and I'm gripping grain. We got Houston Texans all day. You know what I mean? I got the Texans pulling this tough game off, right? This tough game. The Bears got a good defense. They got a shutdown corner in Johnson. Um, but the beautiful thing is the Texans got 3 receivers. In the words of my homeboy, tres. They got tres receivers, way. So I think the Texans will pull this tough win off. It's gonna be tough. I think they win this game 28-17.
Okay. Let's just say this. Caden Williams ended his first game of the NFL with only 90 plus yards passing. 90. 90. You got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Adonze, DeAndre Swift. You got the backup running back Johnson. You got Komet as your tight end. Bro, ain't no way. You can put me back there and I'm going to end with at least 110 yards. Bro, what are you doing? But I'm not gonna be too harsh on the man. I should be, but it's week 1. I'm still gonna talk stuff because I don't like Caleb Williams. I think Justin Fields should still be there running with that exact offense they got right now. But that's another story, another topic. But I got the Houston Texans getting back on the road again, down that lane, down that alley. They popping trunk, they swinging 6 fours, doors wide open. You know what I'm talking about? I got the Texans blowing the doors off the Bears. I ain't gonna lie. I got them blowing the doors off the Bears. I'm gonna say the Texans rolling boys up. Pause, no freaky. I'm gonna say they drop 30 plus to 17. And with that being said, facts. I think they get back on that road again, and they get back on that playoff road. They get back early week 2. They start with the Bears, and they just right on down the lane. But with that being said, I have nothing else further to say. K-Po, if you got anything else to say, go ahead and add it. If not, go ahead and close it out. Let them know what we talking about.
Man, look, we didn't talk about the Texans. We didn't talk about our week 2 predictions. Y'all continue to stay with us on this journey. It's the genesis. I told y'all, this still in the beginning. You know what I mean? This is the genesis of something great. Continue to stay on this journey with us. Grow with us. Like, comment, hate, and subscribe. We ain't running from no smoke. Y'all remember, call that Men Have Hotline, man. It's a lot of brothers dealing with a lot of stuff. Don't be too proud to call that Men Have Hotline. It's 988. You know what I'm saying? And if you need to talk to me, hey, man, you can hit me up in the inbox. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of black brothers, bro. And I'm speaking for all men, but primarily my brothers who go through stuff and they ain't saying nothing, then they off themselves. Make sure you get the proper help. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But continue to follow us. Continue to subscribe to us. Clutch Factory. We clutched up. We clutched out. You know what we talking about. Go over there and continue to support Mind on Greatness because our mind still focused on greatness. We go.
Salute.